Hi guys, welcome back to Elephants in the Room. I'm back. I'm back in my home. I'm back in my safe space. I'm back with you guys. For any of you guys who didn't know, I was in Europe the last month and I actually had batch film a ton of episodes since I left. So I honestly have not sat down to film a podcast in like probably almost a month and a half, which is crazy. But I'm here and I'm so happy to be here. And I honestly today I just wanted to sit down with you guys and just talk with you guys. I just feel like I haven't done like a check-in with you guys in a long time. And I haven't sat down and just talked about kind of some of the things I'm going through and just how I'm feeling in life. And I always feel like these episodes are fun to do because it helps me feel more connected to you guys. And I really hope that it helps you feel more connected to me. I think, again, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm really even doing and, you know, how I want to do this podcast and what I want to talk about and the direction that I want to go in, and just trying to find the right type of thing to do with it all. And so sometimes I get, just caught up with kind of imposter syndrome and just doubting myself and doubting this and doubting what I want to do and who I am. And I just feel like that's part of growing up. But so I just felt like I wanted to sit down with you guys and talk with you guys about how I'm doing. Obviously we just got back from tour, and tour was awesome in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways it was really, really hard. For those of you who know, I'm sure you know, some of you don't, but we're doing so much better. I'm feeling so much better. I got like the worst flu ever. We both got sick. Me and my boyfriend got sick. It was like craziness. But it was so fun to travel, but it was also a lot, and it's definitely really hard on your body. So I'm happy to be back and just start, letting my nervous system get back to a good place, getting back into a routine, getting back into habit, and just being back home. So I feel like that's been good. And honestly, I have just been resting and relaxing and doing things that are self-soothing and taking care of myself the last week and a half since we've been back. And it's been really good. I felt my nervous system kind of start to calm down a little bit. It's hard. It's so funny because obviously this podcast is all about being vulnerable with you guys. But sometimes it's so much harder to talk about things that you're like currently living in and walking through rather than things that you've been through in the past, because they can feel a lot more fresh. And oftentimes when we're going through hard stuff, it's hard to even explain in the midst of it as we're going through it, but then it's easier to explain obviously once we like come out of it. And so I think I don't really know a lot of the ways I'm feeling, and I think a lot of the ways I'm feeling sometimes make me feel weird or crazy or behind, or I don't know, just a lot of different things. And so I think a lot of us go through these things and feel these types of ways, but we don't really talk about them and we don't process them with people. And so I'm kind of in real time just going to sit here and process these things with you guys. I think one of the things I've been like so struggling with, and I've talked about this before, but in a lot more polished way, where I kind of planned an episode, and obviously this time I'm just kind of just dumping my feelings out there. But I think something that I've definitely been just confused about and just in my head about and just processing is just kind of just this crazy identity confusion. And like topped onto that is just this intense pressure that I feel to be more than I am and to be better than I am at this age. I'm 26, and it's so weird because when I was a little kid, I remember looking at people that were like in their 20s and being like, oh wow, like they're old. Or like looking at people who were 30 and being like, oh yeah, like 30 is like serious, it's like life is serious. And yeah, it's just so funny how much our perspective changes as we grow up. And yeah, it's just so funny how much I have changed as a person and how much my perspective on the world has changed as a person. And I think when I was younger, I grasped onto like truth and religion and all these different things and ideologies and just ways of life and the way I saw the world. I grabbed onto them so tightly because they made me feel so safe and secure, feeling like I knew something, feeling like I was solid in what I believed in and who I was and what I stood for. And it gave me kind of this like false sense of security and peace. And then as I have gotten older, your perspective on everything changes. The older that I get, the more that I feel like I am humbled, and the more that I change, and the more that I come to a more neutral space in so many things. And the older that I get, the more information that I receive, the more experience that I have, the less that I actually realize that I know about myself, about the world. And your compassion grows and your empathy grows, and it leaves you in a place where it can feel very confusing. And you go through a lot of honeymoon stages in life with, you know, your passions and your goals and your dreams and your hobbies and your religion and your friendships and your relationships and the way you see the world and all these things that we identify with. You go through the honeymoon stage with all of those things. And after you go through the honeymoon stage, you start to almost kind of become sad because you realize things just aren't what they seem. And like nothing fulfills you the way that you thought it would, and nothing satisfies you the way that you thought it would. And you realize that life is so much bigger than accomplishing things and obtaining things and getting to certain places. And joy doesn't come from those things, like not the way that you thought it did. And it can make you feel, it's in a lot of ways, adulthood is kind of devastating. It's like we grow up with kind of this fairy tale idea of what we think it's going to be like when we get old, and the things we're going to do and the things we're going to achieve and the person we're going to be. And as we get older, a lot of hard things happen in our lives, and a lot of the expectations that we had for life, we don't live up to. And the ones that we do, we realize that they're not as shiny and fancy as we thought they were. And so in a lot of ways it's devastating, but in a lot of ways it's really freeing, because you realize that life is so much more than all of that. And, you know, we're meant to feel things in this life. We're meant to feel emotions, and it's all part of this beautiful, bigger picture. And having relationships and connections with people and going through hard things, like, they're all such beautiful things, and they all make us all around better people, more empathetic people, more loving people, more whole people. But it's definitely such like a weird crisis being in your mid-20s. It's such a weird feeling. There's such a weird pressure. And I think for me, and I've said this before, but, you know, growing up, I didn't really get to explore. I didn't really get to explore my, you know, hobbies or talents. I didn't really have many talents. I was in crisis mode my whole life. I was obviously not physically well, not mentally well, not emotionally well, and I was not in a safe situation for the most part. I mean, obviously I'm fine and I'm safe, but I didn't have a normal childhood. Didn't have a regular childhood that I was able to just go and play sports and have friends and just have a normal home life. My home life bled a lot into my just day-to-day life. Obviously, I still had some normal parts of childhood, but all of that to say, like, I didn't get to really explore or, you know, just try a lot of new things. And again, some of that's my fault. And it's just that the way that I coped with everything I was going through was by doing nothing. And, yeah, I mean, there's so many layers to all of that, but I just have spent so much of my life in unhealthy relationships, toxic relationships, where all my energy went to surviving, and all my energy went to just being okay within those relationships and making sure that other person was okay and taking care of these other people. And now that I'm 26, I'm like, oh wow, there's so much time that I haven't spent pouring into myself, or really just discovering who I am and what I want and what makes me happy and what doesn't, and what makes me feel excited. And it's kind of a weird place to be in. And I feel like as we get older, we get to that place. And at least for me, I feel like so many years of my life, I haven't just let myself explore and learn, and I've just been surviving. And so I'm obviously trying to step out of that, and I have the means now in the situation where I have a little bit more energy and time to be able to do that, and I'm so blessed. But it feels like I'm really behind, and that's just such an unsettling feeling. And even this podcast, I think it's so amazing, and I really am so excited to start doing guest episodes. That's something that I love. I haven't obviously done a lot of episodes with guests, but every time that I do, I love it. It fills me up so much, because truly one of my favorite things in this life is just having conversations with people, like outside of this podcast and talking to you guys. Like, I love just talking to people. I love having conversations. I love being there and supporting people through hard times. I love all of that. Like, I love those things. I love having conversations with people who think differently than me, that have different knowledge than me. And conversations are just one of the most beautiful things. And so anytime that I've ever had people on the podcast and I've been able to hear their story or give them a space to share, it's like my favorite thing. I love it. So I definitely am excited to do that more, and I really want to start doing that more. I want to start having people on and being able to just have conversations and all that stuff. So that's definitely a side of things that I'm excited for and that I feel passionate about. But as far as me doing the solo podcast, in a lot of ways I love it and it's so exciting, but it's interesting because a lot of what I talk about is what I've been through in my life. And so in a lot of ways, it can sometimes feel like I'm stuck still in that crisis mode of like, I feel like I don't have much to show for, much talent, much, I don't know. It's really hard to explain. And so just trying to kind of leave space for myself to be a kid again and explore, even though that's scary to do because I'm not a kid and I'm getting older and wrinklier and losing, all these things that happen to you as you become older. And it's really scary. It's super scary. I think I've just been grieving my youth. And I know that probably sounds so dramatic and annoying to people who are watching this that are older than me and that look back and wish they could be 26 again. And I know in hindsight, I'll look back and be like, you were so young, Nicole, you had all this time. But in this very moment, the pressure that I feel and the grief that I feel about getting older is real. And it's really hitting me and it's really scary. And I obviously had a sped up version of life. I got married when I was 18 and then got divorced when I was 21, left the religion that I grew up in. So I've had a lot of life events happen to me, and it's not that I necessarily compare myself to others and wish I was different or that my life was different. Like, I love my life. I'm thankful for my life, but I'm just grappling and grieving and dealing with losing my youth quicker than I want and wanting to stay young forever, and also feeling like I'm behind and I don't know what I want to do with my life and I don't know who I am. And I do, but it's just like, it's so confusing. I don't know. I've definitely just been feeling unmotivated, unpassionate, a little numb, a little drained, and just confused. And I had a recent situation happen with some family. I know you guys know this. or maybe I've said this before, and this is a little vulnerable for me to share, but most of my family is still Mormon, and the ones who are not Mormon are definitely not Christian. And I've gotten a lot of pushback for not only me leaving the church, but me being a Christian. A lot of people think that I'm just brainwashed in a different way now. And a lot of my close people in my life that I love, and even sitting here talking about this, a lot of my family does not agree with this podcast and what I do and what I've talked about on this podcast, and that I've opened up about my trauma, and that I've opened up about what I've been through. And this podcast was so extremely scary for me to start. And I don't know if you guys know the origin story of all of this, but the core of all of this, and my passion behind Vulnerability Creates Freedom, is that my whole childhood leading up into my early adult years, I was so scared of the truth. I spent all my life trying to be someone I wasn't. When I was in middle school and elementary school, I did everything to not look like the poor kid. I did not want people to know my financial situation at home. I did not want people to know that my parents were divorced. I did not want people to know that my parents struggled with addiction. I hid so hard from the truth because I felt so ashamed and so embarrassed by it. I just wanted to be a normal kid so badly, like so badly. I tried to do everything right and get good grades, and I played soccer. Like I just wanted to be normal. I just wanted to be normal so bad. I never told people the truth. There were very few people in my life, few friends in my life that actually knew what was going on at home. And it was so scary, and I was so embarrassed, and I was so ashamed. And then when I got married, and again, if you've heard this story before, I'm sorry if I'm boring you. When I got married, I felt like I felt this weird sense of like safety and security, because I was like, my life looked really good on the outside. I got married in the temple, which is obviously the Mormon temple, which is obviously very highly praised in Utah. And I had a new extended family that was really normal. My ex-husband's extended family was like the picture perfect family. And it felt like I'm married now, and I'm Mormon, and I'm married in the temple, and I just felt like I had it all together, and I had it all figured out, and I felt so relieved that I finally didn't have to be ashamed and embarrassed of my situation, because it felt like my whole life I was living in other people's consequences, and for once it felt like I have my life back. I have my life together, and everyone from the outside will see me as whole, and everyone from the outside will see me as put together, finally, because I've worked so hard to make good choices and be a good person, and I don't want my childhood or what I come from to make people see me any less, or make people see me as damaged goods or whatever. And so it kind of felt like finally all my efforts to be normal and to do good in school and make good choices. Like I never did drugs growing up. I never had sex. I never drank because I wanted to live a good life. I went to church. I did the standard Mormon thing to be a good person. And I really, really valued that. And so then when I got divorced, I was so ashamed, and I was so embarrassed, and I was so scared to let people into the reality of my situation that I convinced myself that it would be better to just run away and hide. And that's what I did. I literally deleted the Instagram app off of my phone for like a year. I couldn't even be on it because I couldn't deal with the failure. And looking back, I know it's not failure now, but I couldn't sit with the fact that I was a divorced ex-Mormon girl who had drug addict parents who grew up poor. I couldn't sit with that. It made me feel like crap about myself. All I ever saw on social media was people, these happy, healthy relationships and all these things with normal families. And I craved all that so much. And when I started walking with Jesus and I gave my heart to him and I developed that relationship with him, I started to see that my identity didn't come from my achievements. It didn't come from where it came from. It came from him and who he says I am. And it also helped me let go of the bitterness and the guilt against the people who have wronged me and I feel like had stolen and affected my life, and helped me to see that I had to have forgiveness and grace for them because I was no better than them. And we're all people who make mistakes and fall. And also, that's when I started therapy and started to see that I also have to take accountability for my actions and me choosing to stay in these relationships and situations. And I need to stop letting other people control my life and control my joy and control the trajectory of my life and my mood every day. I had to step out and start to take accountability for me and start to want more and start to want better and healthier. Once I started to see how unhealthy all those dynamics were in my life and how unstable my life was, I wanted not stability from an external view of what people saw and how good I looked. I wanted stability from an internal view. I wanted to be stable within myself and who I am. And all of that to say, I don't know why I'm getting choked up, but then I did something that I never thought I would do. And for the first time in my life, I was honest with not only myself, but with people. I remember when I was going through my whole divorce situation, so many people in my life didn't even know. Family members, friends, like I hid it from so many people. I was so ashamed and so scared. And so when I finally started to go through therapy and I went through my divorce and all of those things, I knew that I had so many people asking me what was going on, and I knew I had to just be honest. And it was the first time that ever I was honest with people in my life and also on social media. And I let people into a very small sliver of the door to see what had happened to me. And me finally standing up for myself and saying, do you know what? All these things have happened and I've been through all this, but that doesn't make me broken. It doesn't make me damaged. It makes me human. And when I saw the way that me stepping out and being vulnerable helped people, it was like the most healing thing. And it was the most healing thing for me because here's the thing about the truth. If you let the truth out about whatever it is in your life, whether it's with your friends, your family, with yourself, wherever, you're letting the truth be the truth. When you stop running from the truth, it's so freeing because once it's out there, it's out there. And people can judge you and people can treat you differently and people can do whatever, but you're going to be able to sleep at night because it's like, what are they going to do with the truth? The truth is the truth. Judge me if you want, but it's out. Like, you can't argue with that. There's no room for assumption. When the truth is there, the truth is there. And it's so freeing. It is so freeing to be authentically who you are and be authentically accepting of yourself, your flaws, what you've been through, where you come from. And that is the keystone of why I ever started this podcast, why I ever decided to do this, was that I knew that when I went through everything that I went through in my childhood and as an adult, I never want people to feel the way that I did, because I felt so isolated. I felt so alone. I felt so damaged. I felt so broken. I felt so all of these ways. And I want, not that I am a savior, not that I am whatever. I am just a girl who hopes that it can help one person. I'm not saying I'm making this crazy impact, but I'm just saying the podcast is something that is a bigger movement I want to happen in the world and in life. And because social media is everything to us now, everything is on social media. We can't run away from it. It's just inevitably part of our life. It felt like a place I could do that, and a place that not only could I share my story and what I've been through and what I go through in life and be honest about just all the things we don't talk about, but also a space where other people can do the same, which can hopefully bring us all together and bring us closer and all these things. all that to say, all I've ever wanted to do in my life is to be a good person and to be loving and to do the right thing. And yeah, I think this podcast is really hard because it's really hard to be very vulnerable. And also finding the balance between sharing and like, I never want to get on here and share stuff for views or for validation. Like, that's not my goal. And so learning the balance between privacy and vulnerability, and also just knowing how to navigate working through and talking through things that I talk about, things that I feel like are important topics to talk about, naturally involve me talking about others and people in my life or people who have been in my life, and trying to do that gracefully and trying to do that respectfully, but also doing it honestly with truth and not trying to protect anyone is the hardest balance. It's so hard and it's so confusing, and I've genuinely tried so hard to do it the right way. And so anytime that I feel like my character is in question, it's really hard for me. And I've always struggled with self-trust. But yeah, I've just recently been going through something where people in my life, family, I'll just say that, loved ones, people that are close to me, have attacked me and yeah, questioned my character because of this podcast. They don't agree with it. And I know I've upset people. I know people don't like it. And it just breaks my heart because all I've ever wanted to do is do the right thing. And it's just so hard because, it just breaks my heart. And that has made me, when people you love have opinions of you or of what you're doing, it affects you for sure. And I definitely feel like it's been affecting me, and it's been making me feel confused and scared and lonely, and yeah. But at the same time, there's a fire within me that burns for truth. And I think I'm just such a different person than I was, 5-6 years ago, before I really started my therapy journey and I really started working through and healing through my childhood trauma and learning the ways that I operated out of a place of that trauma and my people-pleasing tendencies and codependency tendencies and such a lack of love and respect for myself and such a lack of love and pursuit of truth, and all about being a peacekeeper and not a peacemaker. And now I'm so different, so much more bold. I'm not the scared girl that I used to be, to upset anyone, to hurt anyone, the scared girl who didn't love or trust herself enough to ever stand up for what she believes is right. I'm not that person anymore. And grieving who I used to be, I think I'm just grieving who I used to be. And I'm glad I'm not that person anymore. But when you do walk out in truth and do things like that maybe most people wouldn't do, it's scary and it's unsettling, and it also can make you just question yourself and doubt yourself a lot. And I think I am feeling that, and it's definitely really affecting me. And I want you guys to know that, because I love you guys, and obviously I can't fake it on this podcast. I can't fake things. I have to, it's all of me is exposed when I get on and I click the record button. I talk to you guys. So if you see a shift, if you see anything or feel off, I want you guys to know where I'm at and why I'm struggling with all of this. And I just want to do the right thing. in all I do. And so I think I love this podcast. I'm not going anywhere. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I'm learning I'm just trying to figure out how to do it, what the right way is and what I want to do. And trying to heal from the backlash that I've gotten from all of it. And just learn to be okay with letting other people down or disappointing other people in pursuit of what's right and what's good, and also me and loving myself. And I think that's hard. So yeah, that's something I've been going through, and I know it probably sounds so dumb. I'm not here to complain. I love my life. I love this podcast. I'm so blessed. But these are just real things I'm feeling and experiencing. And I don't know if any of you can relate in your own ways, but if you do, I just want you to know that life is so confusing, and we all the time are just comparing ourselves and looking on apps and social media. We're looking at people's lives, and we just have no idea what's actually going on in their lives. And we have no idea what the 24 hours in their day look like. We have no idea. We just have no idea. And it's so easy to compare ourselves, and it's so easy to live in like that fake universe of online. And I've just realized I just need to touch some grass, and I've been trying to do that and just be in my own space and be present in my life and just slow down the hustle culture that we all have, and just enjoy what I have and the life I have and the people I have in my life, and love on them and love on me and take care of me. And yeah, I think it's just all so messy and confusing and weird, and life is just, adulthood is weird. It's very weird. It's very great, but it's very weird. And I think that's something I've really been going through. I think my body for sure is definitely still recovering from everything I've been through emotionally this past season. And I know I haven't opened up about some of what I've been going through, because obviously I can't always share it with you guys, but I've been going through a family thing that's been really, really hard on me recently. Some other stuff as well that I can't talk about, but I am in therapy, obviously. I think I've said that 1,000 times, but I love my therapist. She's awesome. She's my second ever therapist that I've had, and she's great. But yeah, she's just been working me through some stuff and helping me see that I just got to take care of myself. I got to take care of my body. I got to take care of my mind, and I got to let myself explore and be a kid again, even though it feels really scary because I'm older now. And I'm still trying to figure out what that looks like and how I can do that. But I think it's just been uncomfortable and scary, because anytime I want to explore and be a kid again, I can feel myself just feeling the pressure of wanting to be an adult and wanting to have my life figured out, my finances figured out, my career figured out, my relationship figured out, to be married, to have kids, to do all these things, to be healthy, to have good habits. Like, there's so many things that we can do, and all of them are good things, but it can all feel very, very overwhelming. I think life is just overwhelming for all of us in so many ways, more than we let on to. So yeah. Other than that, I'm doing good. I definitely physically have felt a little bit kind of all over the place, but I'm working on all that, getting all my appointments set up, trying to make sure I'm eating good and resting and doing all the things and taking care of my body. And just starting to understand my body more as I get older as a woman. So yeah, it's definitely been a process. Which is part of life. But yeah, I love you guys so much. And yeah, also, this podcast, it's so fun. I've had more growth on it in the last, 3-4 months than I ever have. And I think that does add a layer of pressure of like, oh, I hope I don't disappoint them. And like, I want to talk about the right things. And like, I'm not an expert and I feel unqualified. But I also just want to remember the core of all of this and why I started this was just to be honest with you guys and have a community of people that, you know, we can just love on each other and feel safe around each other and encourage each other within all the things that life brings. So no mask, no perfection here, just here to be me, here to be who I am. And so that's why I wanted to just kind of sit with you guys and talk with you guys. So yeah, I love you guys so much. And I also am sorry that I haven't been very active on socials. I'm sorry that I haven't been reacting to your messages or your emails. I'm so behind on all of that. And sometimes it can feel overwhelming. And I'm also just learning the balance of how much I can actually let in my capacity. Because even though I wish I could talk to each and every single one of you, sometimes it can just be too much for me and too much to handle. And so wanting to find the balance within that, but also be connected to you guys can feel hard at times. And I'm just trying to navigate it all. So yeah, I don't know. I love you guys. And thanks for hanging and sitting with me and talking with me. I hope this episode didn't absolutely bore you out of your mind, but if it did, hopefully you skip through it. But I also, it's obviously, this is my space to talk with you guys, so I have to allow myself to do that. I can't be mean to myself, can't beat myself up. But yeah, I love you guys so much. You guys know, if you guys have any episode recommendations, please send them my way. Send me what you'd like me to talk about or people that you'd like me to have on the podcast. If you want to support this podcast, you can rate and review it. That helps me a ton. Share it on your friend. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on all my socials, Elephants in the Room. And yeah, without further ado, what elephants are in your room? I will talk to you guys next week.